Hey everyone, we're live here in Nourish, Heal, and Thrive. I'm really excited to bring Cheyenne to you. She is a Healing on Purpose activator, and I'm going to let her talk all about that because she does a lot of different things, a lot of really cool things. And Cheyenne, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, Derek. It's a pleasure and an honor. I'd be happy to jump into what that really is all about. Uh,
Okay. Yeah, well, why don't you start out by introducing yourself, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and then you can get into your story and what you do.
Absolutely. My name is Sheyenne Kreamer, and I am kind of a unicorn of sorts. I'm actually a full-time RVer. This is my home on wheels. We have no permanent address other than a mailbox in Crestview, Florida. So currently I'm parked in the Knoxville, Tennessee area and loving it here. We're right in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. So beautiful place to be for the summer. So yeah. And the whole idea of the Healing on Purpose Activator is really related to why we're on the road. Because my husband and I are very committed to helping more people discover what their purpose, passion, and mission is if they don't already know. And then let's remove the obstacles that are stopping people from living in it. That's really what we're seeing because there's two things we've seen since we've been on the road. We've been out here 6 years, and there's a lot of people with amazing visions of what they want to do with their lives, but either health challenges are stopping them or financial challenges. So my husband likes to tackle the finance side. I like to tackle the health side.
That's cool. It's like a dynamic duo, right?
We are.
Yeah, you get them from both sides, and I'm sure that helps with everything else in their life too.
Well, it's true. It's true. I mean, many people say these days that your health is your wealth. And if you don't have that, then, the rest of it just doesn't seem to matter as much.
Yeah. So I know you had a journey of how you came into doing this. Can you share your journey with everybody?
Absolutely. And my journey actually started a ridiculously long time ago because I was inspired in high school when I gave my valedictory speech to be it on follow your heart. And the reason for that was because I'd already lost a close friend to suicide, and I had another friend that I was really concerned about. And to me, this is one of the things that we have failed people in society is that we keep pushing people well-meaning ways. We push people towards career paths that are designed to make them lots of money. But if they've got something here that they're trying to connect their head and their heart and figure out how to make money around it, then we're not doing them a service by just pushing them towards the quick money path. I know for myself, I love my mom, but she was sure I was supposed to be an electrical engineer. And later on, as part of my apprenticeship program in manufacturing, I found out that electricity was the one thing I never could get an A in. It would have been a disaster. So that was kind of the beginning of it all for me. But in later years, my husband and I have done a lot of work with entrepreneurship, teaching entrepreneurship in different places. I've been in prisons, I've been in homeless shelters, teaching some basic entrepreneur skills, but always we call it social entrepreneurship, social impact entrepreneurship. How can you take whatever's in your heart and build that income around it? And 6 years ago, we started on the road. We almost didn't make it because 8 years ago, my husband had had a hip replacement, and after that hip replacement, he started getting sciatica because the hip replacement had kind of shifted all these things in his body. So he was in pain in his lower back. And then also his other hip got worse. Both of his knees got worse. The doctors wanted to replace all those joints. And he's going, oh man, after this first one, I'm not so sure about that. And it was literally through prayer and not everybody believes in that, but I do. That we were like, okay, we feel like we've been given this vision. We're supposed to go on the road. This guy's feeling horrible. He's depressed, which is making me depressed, which says I ain't going anywhere. And just saying, okay, if there is a God, I hope you're listening. You better teach us how can we overcome this situation. And within a few days, I got a message through Facebook Messenger from a guy I'd been following for years, but I'd never had a conversation with him. And he sends me a message and says, Cheyenne, I don't believe we've ever spoken, but I feel like I need to hear your story. Please call me. And I got on the phone with this guy for 2 hours. And at the end of it, when I told him about our vision of how we wanted to be on the road and we weren't going anywhere because my husband felt so bad, he said, you know what? You don't have a choice. I'm jumping on a plane in Dallas and I'm coming to Raleigh, North Carolina. And I promise you, I'm going to get your husband on his feet again. And I almost laughed at him because I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't know how you're going to do that, but we're open to anything. And literally, when he showed up in Raleigh, my husband felt at least 70% better within a day or two. And at the end of a month, he was out walking several miles without pain.
That's
That's our
amazing.
story.
That's an amazing story. And so now you learned what he did and you share that with other people, or tell us how that works.
Yes. Yes, exactly. He has become a mentor of ours, and he actually created, his name is Fred Van Loo, and he actually created a healing methodology based on him traveling the world, becoming known as the water doctor, who learned all about water and how water is supposed to be and how our body's supposed to use water. And he trained with all of these different holistic practitioners, and out of the things that he learned, he created his own tools and techniques for healing. And so he has certified my husband and I. It's called emotional DNA trauma release. And so we've been able to work with people who were in some pretty dark emotional places and help to lift them out of it within an hour. And we've also been able to help a lot of people to reduce the discomfort in their body in a lot of ways, a lot of places, because, I always laugh. Doctors will always tell you that stress is the number one cause of disease, but they don't tell you how to resolve that stress. So we've got a methodology for helping to do that.
That's awesome. That's so amazing. So, yeah, talk to me more about some of the clients or some of the people that actually come to you or and some of their results and changes.
Oh, I love to do that for sure. Because we do a combination of things. So the emotional DNA trauma release is a core piece, but then we're also able to supplement that with mineral-based nutrition. That's really, Fred was able to help my husband feel a whole lot better with just an hour of working with him. But then he said, but if you want to make this permanent, you've got to give your body what it needs to be able to regenerate itself. And he explained to us a lot about minerals. He introduced us to a naturopathic physician named Dr. Joel Wallach, whose work is in the Smithsonian Institute. So we thought that, okay, this has got to be for real if he's in the Smithsonian. And he has actually, Dr. Wallach has been rebuilding people's joints for years. There was a gentleman named Theo Ratliff who was an NBA player. He was told that his career was over because his knees were shot. And Dr. Wallach went to him and said, look, give me 90 days and I'm going to prove to you that you can go back to playing. And 90 days later, Theo was cleared by the doctor and he was able to play basketball for another 10 years. Very cool stuff. Very
So,
cool
so
stuff.
cool. So for the people that are watching, maybe they don't really know if they need your help. Like, what are some of the signs that, okay, they might need some of these minerals or to work with you?
Oh, goodness. Well, there's a lot of different kinds of folks that we've worked with. Again, we did a big event a year ago on suicide prevention, and we ended up running into a lot of, it was really sad. We met young ladies whose mothers had taken their own lives. That is like one of the saddest things I've ever heard in my life. And these gals, were in some pretty deep, dark places emotionally. And, I can never guarantee anything for anybody, but I've had an awful lot of them come back to me and start referring people like crazy because they were so shocked. I also had a young lady who had actually been assaulted, and she was hiding in her room. And after working with us for an hour, she was back at it and ready to go out after the world again. So we've seen some amazing shifts like that. So anybody who's got some real emotional stuff that, I'm not a therapist. I do not take the place of a therapist. Maybe they're working with one. Maybe they'd like to see if they can help to, speed up the process. It's definitely one thing. And then, we love working with people who are having problems with their joints. We love working with people who maybe are having problems with sugar. We've actually seen people reverse their symptoms and have doctors tell them they're no longer diabetic. We've trying to think of some of the other folks that we've worked with. There's a lot of folks who just have had a lot of strange things. We have a product right now that just came out that is all about boosting your immune system. And one of the things that we'll talk about here is I have the ability to do face scans with people who, I know too many people who have gotten into taking some pretty high priced nutrition. And, there are a lot of good products out there. I don't slam any of them. But they'll go, well, I'm not sure if I'm feeling anything. I don't know if this is doing anything for me. And so what's really cool about doing a face scan on your own cell phone, I can send anybody a link anywhere in the world. Um, you can do a before and after. You can actually see the results. I just had a gal who tried one of our immune building products, and her face scan had shown that she had this high level of viruses in her body. And she wasn't feeling sick, but there was definitely something being stored there somewhere. And this one product, she took it for a month. We did a new face scan, and it was clear of all the viruses. So, anybody who's concerned about the immune system, all of those kinds of things are folks that we can help. And I will also touch on this because one of the interesting things about our mentor is, and again, we can work with anybody. It doesn't matter what your religious orientation is, or even if you don't have one. But our mentor actually raised up 4 Christian churches that all became healing ministries. We have actually been able to help people who felt like they were somehow had some kind of dark energy that was surrounding them in some way, shape, or form. We've helped them to all of a sudden feel much more clear, much more lightheaded, much more able to think easily. So if that is part of somebody's belief system, we always check on that and see what we can do to just help them to clear that energy field around them so that they can be who they're meant to be.
That's amazing. I love that. So exciting. Uh, so curious, you're traveling around in your RV and you're in
Mhm.
Knoxville, Tennessee. Where are you going next?
We have no idea. Usually, we move around 2 or 3 times a year because we try to do projects in different places. The reason we're here right now is we are looking for to either partner with a landowner or to possibly find somebody willing to donate a couple of acres of land so that we can build what we call a micro healing community. Right now, we're really wanting to help to build a micro community where we can house people, heal people, and educate people. And we really want to help veterans who maybe have had problems with suicide ideation and very possibly also be able to bring young men to the table who've had some of the same challenges. Because we know that we can get them involved in learning trades, working together with their hands, being able to, even create a trades type company and get them into creating their own income, because we don't have enough people working in the trades. And a lot of times working with your hands, creating is one of the ways to make the brain the happiest.
Wow, you're doing such amazing stuff, Cheyenne. It's so cool. Have we missed anything that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I will mention that, for my gratitude for being able to be here in the group and being able to share with you, I am making an offer to anybody in your group who would like to do this. This is a paid service, but I'm making it for free for anybody who reaches out to me in this group. If you would like to go through a 30-second face scan and be able to get a report that shows you exactly how in balance and out of balance 200 different biomarkers are in your body, along with recommendations on how nutritional support could reverse whatever's going on and put you more in balance, I'm willing to offer that for free for anybody here. So it's a very cool piece of technology, and it gives you information about your immune system, your gastrointestinal system. It shows if you need to detox some of your organs. It shows, just it also shows you about your emotions, which is cool because I've done before and after with our Edna process. I've done these face scans before and after. I had one gal who's actually a pharmacist in Florida, and God bless her, the gal was not going through a good time. And she only had, out of 200 biomarkers, only 16 of them were in range. After we did the healing session with her, we went back and did another face scan. She had 65 in range. So that to me was amazing as well, because when you're working with things that are a little non-traditional, again, sometimes people are skeptical, but if you can show them with a tool like that, the difference that it can make, that's pretty cool. So all I need, I'll put my contact information. In fact, I'll put a link under the video that people can go direct to my Calendly link and be able to schedule an appointment if they would like a face scan.
That's awesome. I'm going to do that. That is so cool.
Good deal.
And what how else can they find you? I know you have a Facebook group, and how else, what other ways can people find you? We'll put the link in the comments
Absolutely.
for sure, but let everybody know.
Well, and there's probably too many ways, quite honestly, but I've been sharing my personal webpage with people, which is just my name, CheyenneKreamer.com. You can find a link there for scheduling the face scan. You can also find a link for a free introduction to my class that I do called Find Your Song and Sing It, Finding or Creating Work You Love. So all that's on that webpage. And then, of course, yes, I always invite people to come visit us over at Unity for Wellness and Peace Network. That is our page that is growing, and we're close to 1,600 people. And we love doing interviews with people too, just like we did with you.
Yeah, that was fun. And I'm so glad that we're able to interview each other and bring, help each other and support each other. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate you. I'm so grateful to have you here today. Any final words for the group?
I do. This is my favorite thing to leave people with, because, my personal belief is that we were all born with a piece of a super puzzle. That if we were all busily creating that piece of the puzzle and then getting together with other people, just like we're doing here, and figuring out how those puzzle pieces all fit together, we would be living in a world with ultimate health, ultimate prosperity, and peace for everybody here. The fact that we're not seeing as much of that as we'd like to says there's too many people still sitting on their puzzle piece. So I want everybody who watches this to hear me, because you all are the miracle we're looking for. So get off that puzzle piece and get busy building it.
Wow, I love that. So cool. So yeah, everybody get off your puzzle piece. Let's start building. Thanks for being here, Shan, and thank you everybody for watching. Shannon's going to put all her links in the comments, so watch for those. And thanks again for being here. And if you like what we're doing here in Nourish, Heal, and Thrive, and you want to be highlighted so you can share your gifts, or maybe just share what your struggles are, let us know in the comments, put interview, and we'll schedule something with you too. So thanks everybody again, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you, Derek.